rápidamente se incorpora en Undertaker. Viene Misterio. Patada por las casi en la cara.
What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G, the Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. I have been a fan of Asmati Games' One Deck Dungeon for the last several years, ever since it became known to me. And it feels like, at this point, it feels like 2 years ago almost now, I guess. Maybe not that long, but that's so long it feels. They had mentioned One Deck Galaxy coming out, and I've been waiting for this, and now it's on Kickstarter, and it's got me excited, and I'd like to show you why. One Deck Galaxy has a write-up. It advertises itself right there on Kickstarter as a whole galaxy in one deck. Grow your civilization from spacefaring newbies to galactic leaders in this solo/co-op tabletop adventure. And like I said, I've already been captured by One Deck Dungeon. But this caught my attention also because it looks like they went a little bit of a different route. I like the fact that they kept this streamlined in the sense that it's just a solo or head-to-head game, a 1 or 2 player game. If you have 2 versions of this, just like with One Deck Dungeon, if you have 2 versions of it, then you can play with up to 4 players. And I'm hoping that, much like One Deck Dungeon, that they come out with a big box standalone expansion, so you eventually don't need to get 2 of the same deck. You could get 2 separate ones, and then by having both of them be able to run 4 players. So they kept that 1 2-player thing, 4-player option the same. I like that. So that's something that's keeping me interested. With One Deck Dungeon, there really wasn't a lot of plotting and planning going on. You mostly just react to what the deck is throwing at you. But with this One Deck Galaxy, they're specifically saying that that's one of the things they wanted to change, that they wanted this to be a more strategic, long-term planning sort of game. And they feel that they accomplished that. And from what I've seen, I think, and I hope that they're right. Just as One Deck Dungeon had different character classes that you got to choose, this has homeworlds. And there's at least 5, maybe more, when more stretch goals open up, and this thing is going through stretch goals pretty damn fast. I'm not even sure at this point now. It's been several days between this dropping and me filming it, how many more have opened up. But let's just stick with the base 5. 5 homeworlds that you're based out of, and you'll choose one of them. And this also has several opponents, adversaries is what they call it, that you're going to have to be sort of going head-to-head with, and you're going to have to be dealing with this. So besides building up your civilization, you're also going to have to be handling this sort of upstart, so to speak, this antagonist to you and your culture. And in case you're interested, the game does have a deluxe version of this, and the big takeaway of this upgrade is that the cards are going to be plastic, making them thicker, more durable, and waterproof. And there's also going to be foil discs. The card foil stamped plastics going to have a nice premium finish in this. So if you want something that looks a little nicer and is a little bit more durable, they have that deluxe option there, which is good. I think I'm going to go for the deluxe option. It's not... Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for the deluxe option. Looks good. All right, yeah, so I guess we should talk about pricing, right? This is all about your wallet, and I don't want to assume anything about your own wallet. It's yours. So let's talk about this for a moment. So, I mean, the base game of this is just $25, which I think is very acceptable, even right now in today's climate and what's been going on for the last year and a half or so. I still think $25 is manageable for everything you're getting in this game. I mean, there's tons of cards, tons of dice. I mean, if you know One Deck Dungeon, you have a pretty good idea of what to expect as far as number of dice and number of cards go. So $25 is pretty good. That deluxe copy I just mentioned is a little bit more expensive at $45, but the fact that they're keeping it under $50, I enjoy that. Now, you could also, if you want, spend your $45 instead on 2 of the base games. So you can have an up to 4-player game, which is a little bit more than $10 a player, which I guess isn't bad if you want to figure it out that way. I don't know if it makes a difference to think of it that way or not, but that just came to my mind. And if you want 2 of the deluxe, wow, I'm not sure if I would do that, no. But you might, and that's like $80. So it's not bad. It's not bad. I think they have some decent pricing on this. And if you're a retailer, they do have retail ones, like this copy of 12 for like $180. And the deluxe, the case of 12 for like $300 if you're looking to buy this for a store or something, which is a good discount, which is what you need to make a profit for your store. Now, think about the game itself and some of the differences between this and One Deck Dungeon is in One Deck Dungeon you're picking a character, right? You pick the hunter or whatever, and that's the character that you're playing. In this, you're sort of building what you're doing. Because you do get a home world that you're starting with, but there's also different society cards. And by combining, it says, the home world and society cards, you're going to have a rather unique experience with your own creation, so to speak. Now, besides doing new things like that, this does harken back to some of the old favorites, the One Deck Dungeon that I myself enjoy and know well, and if you know the game, you know these as well. Whether you like them or not, I don't know, but I know that you know what I'm talking about. And that's the pool allocation, where you roll all of your dice, and then you're going to use the results as a pool that you're going to then be able to allocate the dice out to place on certain cards to defeat whatever it is that you have to overcome. And they kept that, so that part, familiarity is there, and they just changed some of the names to make it more sci-fi and more centered on what they are doing, which is civilization growth. So you have energy and material and diplomacy, and that adds on, just like in the base game with the strength, agility, and magic. The encounter cards that you're going to be going through and dealing with in this game do fall into a place in the game that is similar to the doors you're kicking in One Deck Dungeon. And you're going to have to be dealing with the encounters on each of these cards. So there's, again, familiarity there if you know where this game was born from, so to speak, with One Deck Dungeon. You can see how One Deck Galaxy has grown from that. And adding on to the familiar is a great way to bring in the old fans like me, because there's going to be enough that we're going to look at and we're going to know and we're going to remember. And that's a great place to start from. Now, in the previous game, when you rolled low dice, it really didn't seem to help you a lot in most cases. You could combine them for maybe getting a wild die in there, but it's still going to be of a low number. And sometimes it felt like you were just losing out, kind of wasting dice in a sense. But here, they're using low rolls, apparently, from what I see here, that you can still use these dice. And in this case, one of the things that it mentions is building ships, which is something that you're going to obviously need many of if you're going to be exploring space. With each adversary, as it says, bringing their own techniques, combat, and abilities to the fight, it's really going to add on to the replayability. It's going to make things it's going to add on to what's already there, in the sense that you're not going to be doing the same thing to beat different bosses all the time. You're going to have to keep changing your plans, your strategies, and that's just dealing with the boss alone, not dealing with from game to game. The encounters themselves generally are all going to be different from the last time you played. So I'm seeing a lot of little things that add on to replayability here, which, as we all know, is a massively important thing. As the more a game can be replayed, the more and more you really feel like you're getting your money's worth out of it. Now, with these adversaries, it seems that while you're playing the game, they're sort of building up their own power base. And if you're not careful, it specifically says that you will be overwhelmed by the adversary. So there definitely seems to be a built-in balance between building up your own civilization as well as whittling down the adversary as much as you can to make sure that they don't become an overwhelming force. I think I'm beginning to see what they meant about this being a little bit deeper of a strategy game than their previous one-deck games have been. I like that. And something else that looks really cool, and I'm waiting for more information to drop on this, is that they've unlocked with one of the stretch goals a few days ago a campaign mode for this. Now, there was a campaign mode in Dungeon. It was okay. It wasn't something that really super attracted me to the game, but I want to see how they've redone the campaign for the sci-fi version. Yeah, overall, everything I've seen here, I really enjoy. And the fact that I'm a fan of their original game, or original two games, One Deck Dungeon and One Deck Dungeon Forest of Shadows. As I said in the beginning, I've been looking forward to something else in this One Deck universe. And to get an actual universe in it with One Deck Galaxy, I think is very appropriate. But I've loved everything I've seen, and I'm already backing it. So if you're a fan of the One Deck Dungeon games, please check this out. Please go get more information on this. Inform yourself as much as you can, and then make a decision whether you think this is something that you should back. But me, I've already made my own decision, and I'm definitely backing this on the deluxe level.